Father, there was a documentary done by Dan Rather in the news, and I can recall this was around Easter, and he did a documentary, he was trying to do a documentary on the Holy Land and the three faiths, Islam, Judaism, and Christianity. I can recall he was interviewing a Palestinian, and this Israeli group came through. They had a procession. I don't think it was their neighborhood. They went through, and mainly his television interview was interrupted. And then this man started screaming at him. And he called the man to have a conversation, because there was a Palestinian whose family had lived, he traced back 400 years. And he said, what would you say to this person? You know, this person whose family lived 400 years in this place. And he said, you can get a green card and work for us. Now, the striking thing, Father, was this man emigrated from New York.
Yes.
Is this the things that you have to put up with?
Well, this is part of what we are putting up with. And I want to tell you, if you go around the streets of Jerusalem, you'll find people from New York, lots of New York people. You'll find Russians, you'll find Romanians, you'll find Ethiopians, and you barely find Israelis, Palestinian Israelis. Because this is what they are doing. They are importing people from all over the place, from all over the world, to try to create this demographic majority in Jerusalem, so they could claim that we are majority in Jerusalem. Jerusalem is ours, so nobody belongs there, but we are Jews and Israeli Jews, and they're in Jerusalem.
Father Siryani, would Palestinians look at this, when the Arab world looks at this, let's say, as almost social engineering going on?
This is true. This is, I'd call this ethnic cleansing. Because when you deny indigenous people, local people, to live in their home lands, and you oblige them to leave by all kind of means, illegal means, this is ethnic cleansing. And when many Christians try to explain that the establishment of the state of Israel is meant by the Bible because they are the chosen people and this is the promised land, we always tell them, we don't think the Bible allows ethnic cleansing. If, as some Christians claim that Israel is the personification of the chosen people in the promised land, then we want to tell them that this same Bible is responsible for the dispersal and oppression of the Palestinian people for 52 years now. It can't be.
Well, we're also aware that the devil can quote scriptures, and we're also aware that people can try to force, we've seen of late to the year 2000, evangelical communities trying to force the second coming.
This is true.
It doesn't work. And the other thing is, the reality, from my understanding of what you're trying to ask for, is that Palestinians would be treated with the same dignity as the Jewish people should be treated with, and Muslim people, Muslim Palestinians, Christian Palestinians. You're not trying to want them harmed, but to be able to peacefully coexist, as in the United States.
Absolutely. And if we are asking anything, it is to be treated on equal footing with them. We're not asking to have more than them. We're going to have less than them. But we are asking for our fundamental human rights to be recognized by them because they are the powerful party. And because they are supported by the most powerful party, which is the United States.
Yes.
So we want them to be there. We want them to live there. And we recognize the right to live as a nation. Even a right or a fact on the ground, they are there. And we recognize that they have the right to live, to
Yes.
exist.
Yes.
But what we are asking in return is that they recognize our right to live.
And Father Siryani, I believe in the Jewish liturgy. There is an awareness, a prayer of awareness, the realization that you too were once foreigners.
This is true.
But the Palestinians are being foreigners in their own homeland. It's even beyond being foreigners with another land. And Americans, I think, and I'm wondering if you get a sense in your travels, will start to question when basic human rights are being trampled on. And wouldn't you say that perhaps the saddest thing is, are we going to have in the United States another Holocaust museum, except this time it will be for the Palestinians, because we have not discerned properly and we have not done what is right?
Absolutely, and especially in the last couple of weeks, I mean, there's a lot of information and misinformation that is all over the place.
Yes.
And what I'm asking, Christians and others, is to try to look in depth and to see the truth. Because unless we recognize the truth, unless we see and we recognize what is going on the ground, we can't take any decision and we can work for the implementation of the rights. So what I'm asking them to do is to realize that there is a people, a full people who is under siege and who is now in these days facing ethnic cleansing. Now the Palestinians, everybody heard about the latest Palestinian revolt.
Yes.
And until now, there is more than 100 Palestinians who were killed and exactly 3,002 or 300 were injured. Yesterday, only yesterday, 10 were killed and 300 were injured. And they shelled my own parish yesterday. Civilian apartments, residential apartments. And we're facing them, and Palestinians are facing this military power, which is the 6th military power all over the world, with stones. Our policemen are very likely armed. They are less armed than the DC police. So when they talk about ceasefire or troops, they're talking about, what do they mean by ceasefire? I mean, if we are shelled, if we are fired at, how could we stop fire? We don't have fire we don't have weapons to fire. I mean, so I'm asking, the Christians to try to get aware about what's going on in the whole land. When they get to understand what's going on in the whole land, then they could help stop this flagrant violation of fundamental human rights and this is standing up, this is our faith. We have to announce the truth and to denounce the justice.